Smile so we can do it. Do not start. I'm not gonna be taking 7 hours to record this. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I have a special guest with me. You guys have seen her in all of my videos, a million of my videos, and she's back for another one. She's gonna be, actually no, this is the third video that you're in back to back.
Oh, wow.
So welcome back, baby girl. Yay! Today, I'm actually very excited. We're going to be filming a Q&A about circuit riders because I've had many questions and a lot of you guys want to know how it was, how circuit riders went, how was outreach, how do you apply, what do you do? So on my Instagram story last week, I asked you guys, I was like, hey, if you guys have any questions, I'm filming a Q&A. Put it down below, let me know, and y'all delivered. So here we are, and I decided to bring her along because she did CRX with me. It was a good time, right?
It was.
It was a great time. So we're gonna be diving right in to the questions, and yeah, guys, I hope you enjoy it. I hope you find this helpful, and if the Lord is calling you to do circuit riders, then do it, okay? Don't let this video persuade you. It has to be the Lord. That's a big fat disclaimer. It only has to be the Lord telling you to do it, not us telling you to do it. I've got 20 questions that we're gonna be answering. Drum roll please for question 1. Boom. Question 1. How is the process of applying and getting accepted? It's actually very easy. All you do is go on circuitriders.com and hit apply and fill out, you know, the form, fill out the little application that they have, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
That's literally it.
I can't think of anything else.
Yeah, it's very easy. Like, you don't have to do anything else.
Make sure you
just
apply early enough.
Mm-hmm.
Because it fills up quick.
Yeah. I don't know when the deadlines are, but
yeah, I don't either.
But yeah.
I'll have to search it up.
Yeah. How much money should I save during the 6 months? That's a little tricky. Personally, I know everybody's different. Personally, I saved 10 grand to use for the 6 months. And I had more left over. Well, I had some left over once we finished. But I would say save about 10 grand for the 6 months in total. What would you say?
Yeah, I think they told me 10 grand too. 10 to 12.
Mm-hmm.
If you want some wiggle room, maybe. But it also depends on where you go and stuff.
Yeah.
And if you have a car and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, because, I mean, it's very dependent on your situation, obviously. So, like, I had a car during the lecture phase, so I didn't have to, like, give people gas money, but people had to give me gas money. So if you have a car, people have to give you gas money. If you're riding around other people's car, you have to give them gas money. So saving up for gas and like food, going out, obviously you're gonna want to go out. We went out so much.
Every weekend
We were out during lecture phase. So save money if you don't want to be in the house all day. If you just want to go out, have fun, you know, go to the beach, go to Disney, go to Universal, go to other cities. I don't know, wherever you want to go, whatever you want to do, go thrifting. That's like the big thing over there. Thrifting, just save money according to like what you want to do. But also like gas and food, groceries, and yeah.
Yeah, food can be affordable if you grocery shop every week.
Mm-hmm. Instead of eating out.
Yeah.
Because you can go to In-N-Out, you can go to Chick-fil-A every day, but going to Trader Joe's was our lifesaver during lecture phase. We were up in there all the time. So yeah, it's just dependent on what you want to do and how you're going about it, if you have a car or not, all that stuff. But they mentioned that in the interview with you, so you don't have to worry, you don't gotta freak out. You're not gonna like be walking in blindsided like, oh my gosh, like, do I have enough? Like, I mean, you might, but you're always gonna question if you have enough. Like we were questioning, but it's not like, it's not that hard, if it makes sense.
Yeah, they have financial coaches too. Like once you get accepted and stuff, they help you. They have layouts for budgets and stuff like that. They have a lot of resources.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very true. question 3, kind of piggyback with money. How did you receive money? So circuit riders were missionaries, basically. Everybody receives money differently. A lot of people fundraise or work. I worked, so I basically saved literally every single paycheck for circuit riders. So I didn't really have much fundraising, but for me, it was mostly like my job. I was, what is that called?
Self-funded.
Self-funded, yes. I was basically self-funded, but everybody's different.
Yeah, I worked too, and then I reached out to people that gave to missions.
Yeah.
So
yeah, every case is different. Everybody's different. You can work, fundraise, whatever you want, you know?
the Lord will provide.
The Lord provides.
It's meant to be.
Yes, he is our provider. Amen. How did you end up joining CRX? The Lord?
Do you want to go first?
God. How did I end up joining Circuit Riders? Okay, basically, long story short, I was basically feeling for a year before I joined that I wanted to do something more for the Lord, and I didn't really know how to go about it. I didn't understand what to do. Basically prayed, fasted. The Lord opened doors for me to go to California before Circuit Riders for my job, because for those that don't know, I am a sonographer, so I do ultrasounds, and I took 2 travel jobs in California. So the Lord opened those doors real quick. So I was already in California before CR and before I applied to CR. And I applied to CR and I was like, Lord, if you want me to get in, then I'll get in. And then I got accepted. So yeah, it was basically like the Lord showing me to surrender the season of my life, the 6 months, for him, quitting my job, not working for 6 months. It was a little difficult at first because I was like, oh my gosh, like I have to quit my job. What am I gonna do? Like, this is crazy. But like she said, the Lord provides. And if this is something that God wants you to do, he'll open every door and close every door that needs to be closed. You know, like it will be obvious if it's from the Lord, and like it won't be difficult. Like the process won't be difficult. It'll be easy. You'll literally see the Lord moving and working real quick. So yeah, that's basically my story in like 5 seconds, but that's how I ended up joining CR.
Yeah.
How did you join CR?
Same thing, long story short. I was doing school, and basically I felt the Lord speaking to me that I needed to move my life and give everything to him. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, I'm doing school, I'm working, doing all this stuff.
All right.
But then I had heard about circuit riders like probably 4 years ago through a friend of a friend, and it kind of went in one ear not the other. Like, I didn't follow anyone from circuit riders, didn't follow circuit riders, didn't watch their live stream, didn't listen to their music, anything. And one day I kept hearing circuit riders over and over in my head, and I was like, well, what is this circuit riders thing? Like, I don't even know what it is. Like, so I went on the page, read about it, and I was like, okay. So then I started praying about it, and the Lord kept confirming to me like many times, like, yeah, this is what you need to do. This is your next season you're walking into. So basically I stopped everything I was doing, sold my car, and then I did it.
You good.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, the Lord basically gave us a lot of confirmations and like showed us. And for me, I didn't know what circuit riders was either until like, I don't even know, like a year ago. And I never followed them, literally nothing. I had no idea who they were. I didn't even know what YWAM was, y'all. Like, I had no idea what YWAM was either at all. I was like, what is YWAM? Like, what is this? And I tell people and they're like, you don't know what YWAM is? And I was like, yeah, I don't, sorry. But yeah, basically circuit riders is a part of YWAM. It's like a little branch of YWAM. But yeah, I was just getting confirmations, and then one day I was just scrolling on Instagram, and I guess the Lord was like, all right, you scrolling, let me show you while you scrolling. Because then circuit riders popped up on my Instagram, and I was like, ooh, what's that? Like, worship, cool. And yeah, I was just, you know, praying about it and doing more research about it, talking to other people that did it, and long story short, we did it. So
Yep.
yeah, that's basically it. The Lord is how we joined circuit riders. How did God encounter you throughout these past few months with circuit riders? That's a big question.
That's loaded.
That's a loaded question. Ooh. You want to go first? Go ahead.
How did God encounter me?
Yeah.
Well, he encountered me many, many times. I think lecture phase was different.
Mm-hmm.
It was, I mean, the whole experience was growing and stretching. Like your character, it was amazing.
Yeah.
But I would say encounter-wise, like during lecture phase, we learned so much good knowledge that actually like sticks with you and like helps your spiritual life. And there were so many times where I had like love encounters with the Lord, and just he taught me so much about myself. And then during outreach phase, even more, like when I was giving, the Lord was faithful to give to me too. Mm-hmm. And I had a lot of encounters. I can't think of specific ones right now, but there was so many times where the Lord spoke to me and encountered me so many times. I would say mostly like just with his love. The most, the past 6 months.
That's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I think, because I grew up as a Christian, so I've, known the Lord my whole life. But I think the Lord encountered me with the gospel again and again and again. And like, me just being encountered by the message of the gospel and like the cross. Like, it was like, it's so crazy. Like, we had a gospel week, and homeboy Peter Lewis, he literally like preached the walls off, okay? We were all getting encountered. Like, it was just crazy. And I feel like every time I think of my lecture phase or like CR, I think of like that week. During outreach, I think I was encountered by God by seeing the way the hosts treated us, because you can literally see the love of God through them. Like, the way that they treated us, the way they hosted us, the way they were like loving on us was such a great example of the way that Jesus loves. And for me, I feel like I was encountered by the way that God loves through other people on tour. Even though we were there like pouring onto others, and like we were there like not to receive, we were there to give, but like just the way the people were treating us and accepted us with open arms was like, whoa. Like, that was a major love encounter from the Lord, especially like going to different countries and like seeing like people from different cultures treating us the same way. Like, it was just like, yeah, okay, like we literally were getting, loved on like crazy in Germany, and then in Spain, and then like in the Netherlands. And like, it just shows that like God's love doesn't matter what nation you're from or like where you're from, what culture you're from. Like, if you're a Christian, you love like Jesus. Did you ever feel homesick?
Poquito.
Yeah, I would say during lecture phase, I felt homesick on my birthday because it was so sad celebrating my birthday without my family. I had this one, but yeah, I felt homesick on my birthday. And then during outreach, I didn't really get homesick until like the last 2 weeks. I was ready. I was like, I miss my dog, I miss my sister, I miss my parents, I miss Florida, like I miss it. But for the most part, I wasn't homesick, just like a few times.
During lecture phase,
All right.
It did help to have her there, obviously.
Yeah.
But I did get homesick a lot in the beginning, because it's kind of like you're just put into this brand new situation and you're like, what's going on here? Like, with 200 people you've never met, and it can be a little nerve-wracking. But I'll say during lecture phase, it was super helpful to have like house leaders that took care of you. I always went to my house leaders when I was feeling homesick and got prayer. They talked to me, like reminded me this is such a short season, because the first half is like 2.5 months. And honestly, it does fly. So that was helpful, just having leaders to go to. And then during outreach phase, same thing, just the transition. Like, at the beginning I was homesick, but after that, after we all got super close, I was fine. Yeah, I was living it up.
You were.
So if you get homesick like me, it only lasts for a little bit. I won't say it won't happen, because it will.
It will happen. It's normal. It's bound to happen.
Yeah.
Like, you literally just moved your entire life across wherever you live, to California, a place where you don't have your friends, your family, like brand new, like 200 people you don't know, you're like, it's bound to happen, but it's okay.
For sure.
Number 7, what do I have to do to apply? You don't have to do anything besides apply. Yeah, that's about it.
Just make sure it's from the Lord, and if you're not sure, whenever you have your interview, the person will be very helpful, and they usually have like really good discernment. I mean, they always do. Yeah. And they can help you pray through it and whatever you need to do, so you don't have to have any pressure.
Yeah, no pressure, guys. Are there different roles in CR? There's a worship track, media track, messenger track. For worship, like if you're a worship leader or worshiper, want to do worship, there's the worship track, which is she was in.
Yes.
And then messenger track for all the preachers, the talkers. Yeah, you could do that, and they basically like help you, teach you how to like write sermons, how to preach. That's the track that I was in. And then there's media track, which is all things like social media, like content creating, all of that. But yeah, there's 3 tracks. You could choose whichever track you want. They don't choose that for you. You just, I think when you apply, you select what you want to do.
Yeah. And then you also get to choose Brave Love, which is the women's track.
Yeah. Empowering
women. And then there's Carry the Love, which is empowering college students, young adults. And then Black Voices for HBCU universities.
We were both in Carry the Love. Yeah. And it was amazing. It was so fun. So like she said, our focus was university students, college students. But yeah, there are different tracks, different things you can choose. It's not just like one thing or like one track. It's like split up into different groups. Number 9, your approach to sharing the gospel with strangers. That's a good question. You can go, yeah.
I would say every case is different for me. It depends on what I'm either discerning or feeling while I'm walking up to the person. But usually, just don't make it weird. Just go up to the person and like just start talking. Like a lot of people these days, they're so like they'll have headphones in, just like focused on whatever they're doing. But just going up to people and like asking, how are you? How are your classes going? Like we went on universities, so I'm speaking more to that. But basically, how are you? And then integrate Jesus into it. And then I would say, hey, have you ever heard the gospel? Or most of the times, actually, I wouldn't even ask. I'd be like, I have some great news to tell you. Because if you ask people, have you heard the gospel? And they say yes or no, it gives them a chance to like deny hearing it. So I'll usually just say it in conversation. I'll be like, hey, like I believe this, this, and this. And and I put in the conversation and basically just love on people.
Yeah, that's good. I'm not the type of person to go up to someone and be like, do you know Jesus? Let me share the gospel with you. Like I'll go up to someone and I'll be like, oh my gosh, I love your outfit. Or, oh my gosh, I love your shoes. Like, you're so pretty. And then boom, that's an open door. Because people are like, oh my gosh, thanks. And I'll be like, hi, nice to meet you. I was in Europe, so it was easier for me, I feel like, to evangelize. Because people were like, oh, where are you from? Because obviously I don't have a European accent. Or like, you know, I sound like an American girl. People would ask me like, oh, where are you from? And I'd be like, oh, I'm from Florida, you know? And then that would like, boom, immediately open a conversation. And then they'd be like, oh, well, what are you doing here? People would always ask, what are you doing here? Like, why are you in the city? Like, what are you doing? And it was a perfect open door for me to be like, oh, well, I'm a missionary. We're here spreading the gospel, talking about Jesus. Do you know him? And sometimes I wouldn't say like, do you know him? We'd just be like, can we share the gospel with you? Like, this is what we believe. Or a lot of times we'd be like, oh, what do you believe about Jesus? Who do you think Jesus is? And then we would hear what they would have to say, and we'd be like, oh, can I tell you what I think about Jesus? And then like, that's how I would go about it. But yeah, like she said, every person is different. Every case is different. Sometimes we just be like, oh, do you know Jesus? Even though that wasn't really my approach. I'm more like personable, if that makes sense. Like I like creating conversation before getting the gospel through.
Yeah, I like to keep the conversation open. So I'll tell the person like, you can be honest with me and what you think about Jesus and Christianity in general, and that usually allows people to like open up about it. And I'll be like, yeah, ask me all the questions you want, but each person's different. You really have to have discernment when you talk to people.
A lot of times too, because we went to universities, like we would just go up to people and be like, oh, do you need prayer today? Like, do you have an exam? Do you have any homework issues or whatever? Like, how can we pray for you? And people would be like, oh yes, like I would love prayer. Or people would be like, no thanks, and just like walk away, you know? Like you're gonna get both. But it just depends. Every person is different, every case is different. Just like she said, use discernment. And yeah. What was the biggest lesson God taught you throughout DTS? She's getting stressed.
I got taught so many lessons.
Yeah.
It's so stretching.
It's very, very stretching. He really taught me patience. Like, for real. Like, you are dealing with a bunch of different people, different nationalities, different cultures, different personalities, and you're living with a bunch of people different ages. And so it's very stretching. I love everybody. Literally had such a great experience. Probably the best 6 months of my life. However, it taught me patience.
I would say the biggest thing was just using my voice and having boldness.
Yes.
Yeah. A lot of like, they're just super encouraging there. And everyone's so quick to just open up and talk. Pray for you. It's like the best community you could ever have in your life. Like, it's such a special time, and you won't get it back. So just having a community and being surrounded by amazing leaders 24/7 is like so surreal, such a surreal experience. So I would say just learning to be vulnerable, using my voice to speak up.
How is your outreach team?
Hey team.
Hey team.
My team.
Love you
was
guys.
The best. Was
I think
amazing.
we had the best team, but it's fine.
Anyways, best US team, I'll say that.
Best European team.
So we don't fight about it. But I loved my team so much. The crazy thing was, I didn't know like my entire, like anybody on my team, like before finding out we were on the same team, because our class, our DTS class was so big. And so we didn't know every single person, and I so happened to get on a team of people that I didn't really know. And so it was kind of scary at first, I won't lie. I was like, who are these people? But we jumped on tour. We were together 24/7. We found our dynamics, and then from there we just had a ball, had a blast. Now we're all close. Yeah, it was the best. I loved it so much.
I think my team was the absolute best. I love them so much. Just like her, I literally did not know anyone besides Yulia. Hey Yulia, I love you. I did not know anyone but her, and even then I didn't even know Yulia like that. Like, she was just a Swedish girl, you know, that was in our DTS, and I knew, and I was like, oh my gosh, she's so cute. So when I saw that she was on my team, I was like, period, okay, I know her, it's lit. But yeah, I didn't know anyone else. And actually, no, I did. I knew John Con. Hey, John Con, shout out to you, John Con. But he wasn't in our DTS, so yeah. Anyways, he hopped on because he was part of the band. Anyways, yeah, I didn't know anyone, but we all got very, very close. It's just bound to happen. Like, you're bound to get close to people that you're literally living with, touring with, riding with for what, 3 months, 2.5 months. But yeah, we had the best time together, the best memories together. We literally were running up a hill in Switzerland. It was perfect. It was literally just the best day. But yeah, we had so many amazing memories. We saw people healed together. We saw people freed together. We saw people saved together, and it was just the best. So yeah, we got very lucky. I know not everyone has a great experience, but I had an amazing experience. I love my team, and yeah,
same.
We had it good.
Yeah,
we had it pretty good.
I love my team.
I love my homies. West team, best team.
Miss them.
Expectation versus reality with your team and outreach. For me, the expectation, okay, so I tried not to go in with expectations, number one. Like first of all, we've never been on outreach before. We've never actually done missions. Well, I haven't. So I honestly didn't even know what to expect. I didn't know what was gonna happen. However, the only expectation that I did have was I didn't think it was gonna be as crazy and as packed and as hectic as it was. Not that it was in a bad way or anything. It was just so busy. We were probably the busiest out of every freaking team. Like, I would literally call her and tell her like all our plans, and she'd be like, oh, I'm chilling, like I have a rest day, I'm doing this and that. And like my team, we were so busy, like every day, every single day. It was jam-packed, so I did not expect that. But that's pretty much it. Like I said, I didn't go in like having all these expectations of like things that were gonna happen or weren't gonna happen. Like I honestly was like, okay, like whatever happens happens. I don't know how this goes. I've never done anything like this, so I'm just like, I have zero expectations. My team, I didn't have any expectations. Actually, yes, I did. I expected us to get close, and we did. So yeah, that was a great thing. But yeah, other than that, that's literally it for me.
I would say for me, because we had the week before we went back home for winter break, which this would be good news for you guys. We had a lot of like classes on practical stuff about tour and the tour life and things that could happen that could possibly like be annoying and stuff like that, a lot of practicals. So I think in my head I was more like anxious, especially because I didn't know them. And I was like, oh, I don't know how this is gonna go. We're gonna be together 24/7. We're gonna be in high stress environments. So I think I overthought it. So I guess that was my expectation, was like, oh, it's gonna be like very strict and high stress, I guess you could say. But the reality was, it was not. It was amazing. And I wasn't stressed at all. Like my team was, it was fine.
What called you to be a part of Circuit Riders? Well, we mentioned this in the beginning, but it was the Lord, basically. Yeah. Do not do it if God is not giving you the green sign. Do not do it if the Lord is not opening any doors for it to happen. It only has to come from the Lord. And like I will say, I know there's so much hype around Circuit Riders and it's amazing, it's literally the best, but this is not the only missions thing that you can do. And don't just do it for the hype, because you're missing the whole point. Like, do it because God is telling you to do it. Do it because that's it. Like, literally only do it because God is telling you to do it. What did God show you during this stage of life? Like, everything that I see has to do with the gospel, if that makes sense. I basically like look at the cross more, I guess, versus like, it's not that I never did, but I didn't realize the importance and the everyday value of the cross, because it's not just something that you think about on Easter, or it's not just something that you think about on Sundays. It's all the time. It's every day.
He just revealed more of himself to me, I guess you could say, and how to live a life abundantly. Because I think before I was just living life, and I was still like going through things. I don't think I was walking in freedom at all. And so I think this experience taught me like how to be free in Christ, and how it's an everyday thing that we walk through. And then just how to live a life abundant, since he gives us abundant life, and just to have joy. So yeah.
What are you doing now that you're done with CRX? I am going back to work, and I'm very excited to go back into work. I feel like doing Circuit Riders has shown me the missional aspect in everyday life. So like I said earlier in this video, I work at a hospital. I do ultrasounds, and so I'm going back, and you know what? I cannot wait to see my patients healed. Step 3, okay? I cannot wait to pray over them even more. Just putting that like missions aspect into work.
While I was on outreach, while I was on tour, the Lord really started to speak to me about missions and started to grow my desire for California and for missions in general for the nations. I plan on working during the summer, and then after that I plan on most likely going back to California.
Yeah, you do.
To help with circuit riders and missions.
Oh, yay! So, yeah. If the Lord wills it.
If the Lord wills.
We're both on different paths, and that's okay. I feel like a lot of people, because I feel like this was something that a lot of people were stressed out about, at least from like the people that I did lecture phase with. They were saying like they felt like doing staff, or they didn't feel like doing staff, but they wanted to because they kind of felt pressured into doing it. And if you join it, and once you're in it and you feel that pressure in a sense, I would just say pray about it, because I mean, not everyone is called to do staff at Circuit Riders. Like, I know I'm not, and it's something that I did think about, and I was like, okay, like, should I just do staff, or like, should I just move to California and just do it, like work part-time with my hospital job and then do staff over there? But it's not something that the Lord wants me to do. And I've had many people be like, oh, like, just do it, and I'm like, I'm not gonna do it if the Lord doesn't want me to do it, because I'm a hard advocate, and I will say it till the day I die, that there needs to be people in the business field, in the business world. There needs to be people working in the secular world, because if there are no Christians there, then who's gonna get them, you know? But then there are people that are called to be missionaries full-time and called to do staff, or not just with Circuit Riders, but wherever, as part of their calling. And if it's what God wants, then do it. There is no right or wrong. It's literally just like everyone's different path and what the Lord is calling people to do. So for me, I'm called to go back to work, and I'm very excited about it. And she's called to be missionary. Question 16. Do you have to go to school before applying or joining CR? No, you don't. A lot of people go straight after high school, or take a gap year during college and go, or like quit their careers and go. Like, it literally does not matter.
Any walk of life.
Yeah. Do you choose where you go on outreach? No, you don't. They give you a form and they ask like what your preferences are. So for me, I put Europe and South Africa, and I ended up getting Europe, but it doesn't say like what region in Europe or where. They basically pray over who goes where. Was it hard being in an environment where you didn't know anyone or have any friends at first? No, because at least for me, it wasn't.
Views right here.
Two very different people here. For me, it wasn't hard because I love making friends. I love meeting new people. I love chit-chatting it up. Was it easier, and did it make the process a little better having her there? Yes. However, I did not have a hard time making friends or like being with new people.
I'm more introverted, I guess you could say, more on the quiet side. So whenever I first moved into my house, I was like, I don't think I can do this. Like, my mind was telling me like, there's no way you could do this. But like I said earlier, the leadership is so amazing, and they made it so much easier. And everyone's so sweet. It's so amazing to be with on fire believers 24/7.
Yeah, that's true.
And people that are serious about their spiritual lives and who are serious about Jesus. And
no fooling around.
Yeah, so it makes it like, I have no complaints. It made it so much easier to transition to living like that. It might seem really scary at first, and I would be the one to say like, I thought I was gonna like be really scared, but in the end it was fine.
What do you do in CR? So what did we do? We did a lot.
So in lecture phase, we went to classes every day, Monday through Friday. We have the general classes Monday through Friday, and then certain days of the week you have the messenger music or media track, whichever one you do, and then the other day of the week, which is Fridays, you have Carry the Love, Black Voices, or Brave Love.
Yeah. And then you have outreach on Wednesdays. So like you go out and evangelize once a week to different universities. And then you have Monday nights on Monday night. And then you have Greenhouse, which is like their worship prayer room type thing. That's Tuesdays
and Wednesday
morning, Thursday night. And then you have weekends free. So that's lecture phase. And then you have outreach, which is the second part of your DTS. And that's basically you evangelizing in universities, hosting Carry the Love events, doing Brave Love, Men Who Lead, Catalyst Night, doing all these things. She didn't do Catalyst Night, we did. But yeah, you're busy every day. During lecture phase, you have weekends off, so you can do whatever. But yeah.
It was so much fun.
It was
during
a lot of
lecture
fun.
Phase, you only have classes for like a few hours of the day.
Yeah.
And you really get to like bond with the people in your house and then other friends you make, and then you can do whatever you want on the weekends.
Yeah. Tuesdays you have house dinner with your house, which was so
it's
fun. Oh, it's so fun.
I
You
loved
get to
my
bond with your
house.
house. It's the best. We were the house where we saw multiplication of food. So I was actually in the shower when this happened, but they prayed over the fish tacos. It was fish tacos, guys. And they opened it because we didn't have enough. And as soon as they opened it, there was more. And like all I hear is screaming and jumping, and I'm like, what is happening? They were like, our food just got multiplied. It was crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, you bond with your house. It's literally the best. This is the last question. What was your favorite memory in CRX?
During outreach, my favorite spiritual moment was when I got to pray for a woman who started just getting delivered from a bunch of things that she was going through in her life. And I got to see like the power of God, literally. I got to see someone get set free. And so that was my favorite, like, more spiritual moment on tour, even though there was so many good moments. That was just personally my favorite. And then my favorite fun memory from tour was when I drove from, I think, like LA to, I don't remember. We go to so many different places. But
we do.
I drove from somewhere to Reading, and our drive, it was supposed to be a 3-hour drive, and it turned into like almost an 8-hour ride because we kept stopping and just having the time of our lives. And I laughed all day long and just really bonded with the people in the car. And yeah. Well, we went to a lot of places. Like, we went to Universal. We went to, she surprised me. I was gonna say on my birthday, but it wasn't my birthday. She surprised me, I think, for like my Christmas gift.
It was your Christmas
It doesn't matter.
gift. It was your Christmas gift.
She surprised me. She drove to SeaWorld and I didn't know. My favorite fun memory was probably when we went ice skating.
I knew you were gonna say that.
I love ice skating.
I was waiting for it, but
we went ice skating during like Christmassy time at Irvine Spectrum.
It was so fun.
And I just love ice skating.
It was so fun.
It was a lot of fun.
I honestly loved our beach days. Like, I loved Laguna. Like, that was so fun. Laguna Beach. That was lit. It was great. I also loved our Universal day when we went to Universal. Same. That was a lot of fun too. And all our weekends were fun. So it's kind of hard. Yeah, we did something every weekend. Bro, I had so many great moments on tour. Like, my team, y'all, we went to Rome, we went to Milan, we went to Switzerland, we went to Portugal. Like, we went everywhere. One of my favorite moments was we were driving, I think we were on our way to Rome, I think, or Milan, I don't know. We were going to Italy. And we were passing through Switzerland, and we were randomly like, hey, let's just stop by the side of the road and like just look at the view, right? So we stopped, we're looking at the view, we're looking at the freaking Switzerland mountains and the lake, and we were like, why don't we just go up that hill? And all of us, we all ran up that hill, and we were just like seeing Switzerland like from the top of the mountain, and it was just insane. Like, it's just one of those moments where like it was just crazy to live it. Like, Who would have thought my team would be running up a hill in Switzerland, looking at the most gorgeous view ever? Like, it was crazy. It was so good. We were in Spain and we were in Valencia, and we met a girl at the mall, and long story short, we spread the gospel with her. She was a Muslim and she actually got saved, and it was literally so sweet. There's so much more to this story, but we're just gonna condense it a little bit. But yeah, she got saved. She was a Muslim. Her boyfriend was a Christian. He grew up in a Christian environment, Christian household, so he knew the gospel. So once we told her the gospel, she was like, oh my gosh, like she was so joyful and so happy, like hearing the gospel, which is so crazy. But something she said, which I'll say because it was like actually wild. She was like, yeah, like as a Muslim you're taught that Jesus is a prophet, but I've always known deep down that he was something so much more. It was like I knew that he was God, and now I know that he is God. And we were like, he is God, he is God. Like it was just so crazy. But yeah, that was probably one of my favorite moments, also because it was in Spain, you know, where my family comes from. But yeah, it was very special. It was very fun. That was all the questions. We went through all 20 of them. I hope that helped. And if you guys have any more questions, please leave it down below and I'll answer you guys. But yeah, that was about it. Thanks for sitting through this long chit chat video with us, and we love you guys, and we'll see you in our next video.